Hi there, my name is Hannah and I will just be doing a short reflection video of my experience on the Surface Learning project. So I initially selected a site that was absolutely breathtaking. Just from the initial appearance, I could tell that this was likely going to be a very high ranking in my evaluation and that its attractiveness and suitability for pollinators was high. Unfortunately, it fell through and led me to select an alternative site in which I chose to conduct my evaluation on the landscape of the Rose Creek Public Library. Initially, I was a little bit disappointed in this change, but after conducting the project, I realized that it really gave me a really great opportunity to make a more significant difference in providing and constructing this habitat that would be more suitable and more attractive to pollinators, which, I feel was the ultimate goal of the project, so I'm ultimately grateful for it. But anyways, I gave my site a 52 out of 100, which was a much lower value than I anticipated after leaving that day with 10 to 15 photos of really beautiful plant and tree species. But upon some more extensive research, I realized that there was a major problem in my site. And for starters, there were 18 trees at my site, and there were about 7 or 8, including the deadfall species, tree species. So we were pretty good with that. A lot of them provided larval food sources, and the majority of them were flowering tree species. But unfortunately, they were only flowering for 1 to 2 months of the year, and all tend to have the same blooming period. So this would generally not be that big of an issue if the pollinators present were able to fall back on utilizing other plant species, but that was really not an opportunity that my landscape that I evaluated provided. I only observed 1 herbaceous plant species and 2 flowering weed species and 4 shrubs. And so the biodiversity was quite low, and in addition to this, these plant species that had really attractive flowers, the same problem existed in that they really lacked this extensive floral provisioning. They were only blooming for a couple months of the year. So my big goal, and what I put a lot of focus on in my recommendation, was finding plants that kind of filled in a lot of the gaps, and I made sure to have floral resources available for as long as I could during the year. And so I ended up constructing a plan that added on about 9 months of floral resources. And in addition to this, I noticed there were some other major downfalls, such as there were no available water sources for pollinator species, so I of course recommended that. And I also recommended bee boxes, and I myself plan to actually donate some boxes to the library when this project is complete. So just to share something really quick that I was really excited to learn about that I did during this project, was I discovered this species, the tiger bee species, which I have a photograph of in my Excel spreadsheet. But I had a difficult time initially identifying this species, as I thought it was a bee, but upon pretty extensive research, I found out, or was able to identify the species and found out that it was a parasitic fly of the carpenter bee, because the female tiger bee fly will deposit her eggs into the cells or cavities that carpenter bees drill in the wood, and these tiger bee fly larvae will actually feed on the carpenter bee larvae. So I am very excited to have this knowledge, but overall I'm really grateful for what I have learned in this service learning project. Not only do I feel that I have extensively gained a great deal of knowledge on how to kind of construct a better, if not, ideal habitat for pollinators for myself, but I feel that I can now go on to educate others with this and become a better pollinator advocate. And I am super excited to share my data and report with my community partner in hopes that we can work together to kind of enhance the suitability of the habitat and work on a lot of those things that were, preventative of pollinators and lacked in attraction. So anyways, thank you for watching.